Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream, and I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 178, and I am so glad that you're here today because we are talking about you questioning everything when it comes to your business. I've had so many new business owners tell me this lately that they are stuck and stalled because they're questioning everything. So let's talk about this today. Let's talk about what it's doing to you so you realize the damage that it's causing and how you can get past it and not be a constant questioner. If you're new here, welcome. I am so glad that you have found this podcast. I have no doubt that it's going to help you along your business journey, whether you're starting, planning, growing, whatever stage you're in the right place. If you got a product or service business, this is for you. I make this for you because I want you to be able to build your business dream. I want you to see that this is possible and have the courage and the know-how to actually make this dream of yours happen. Now, if you're new, listen up really quick. You need to get in my private Facebook group. So scroll down right now in the show notes. If you're an Apple Podcast, Spotify, there's show notes that talk about this episode down below. Click the link that says go to the private Facebook group. When you click it, it's going to take you to Facebook. You're going to answer the 3 quick questions, and then I'm going to approve you here very, very, very soon. And you're going to be in the group. Now you'll finally have a community of women who are all doing the same things as you, whether they're starting local or online. It doesn't matter. We're all together here. You're in a group now where you can ask questions, get help, get advice, show pictures of things you're working on and see what people think and get feedback. I think this is an awesome way for you to get plugged in. If you're new to business, especially, you probably don't have a ton of friends that are starting businesses like you, and it's just so nice to have the community. So make sure you get in there right now, okay? Also, if you're new, I've got some free downloads for you if you're in the idea stage and trying to figure out what the heck business idea am I meant to start. Scroll down, I've got a link to that, a 5-page guide. It's going to help you map out everything for yourself so you can figure this out finally, what type of business you're meant to start. And then I do have a 16-step checklist for starting your business. So lots of free goodies if you're new. And if you've been listening a while and you haven't ever gotten those, make sure you're in the group and getting the free downloads, because these are tools that are going to totally help you along your journey. And if you've been listening a while, I want to thank you so much to all my loyal listeners. Y'all are so sweet to me and so kind. And I'm always so humbled when you share how this podcast has helped you. It's meant the world to me. And if you've been listening a long time and you've never given this podcast a review, would you be so kind to take 30 seconds? All you have to do is hit the 5-star rating, okay, whatever player you're listening in. If it lets you rate it 5 stars, rate it 5 stars. And then if you have 30 seconds to write a written review about how this podcast has helped you or what it's meant to you, it would mean so much to me. So that's it. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, friend. How are you? How is everything going with your business? Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for all of you. Y'all, there's been so many people coming in the Facebook group. I'm like, are people just starting businesses left and right? Or do I have some really good exposure all of a sudden? I don't know. I think I've always had pretty good exposure, but I feel like there's a lot more women coming in the group and people starting their businesses. And I think it's so so exciting. And what I love is that all of you are pursuing something greater for yourself. That's really the moral of the story, is that you feel a calling to do something, a yearning, and you're following it. And that's what I think is so admirable. And that's why I'm so honored to be a part of your journey. It's so wonderful. So today we're talking about all of you that are questioning everything you're doing. And you're like wasting so much time and brain energy to do this. Think about it. Think about all the time that you waste wavering back and forth and back and forth. Should I be doing this? Should I do this website platform? Is this logo better? Are these colors better? Is this font better? Is this centered on the page, or should I put it left justified? I mean, the stuff y'all question just goes on and on. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I'm going to pull my hair out for you because this is really frustrating. You're going back and forth. And I think if you are that kind of person that has a hard time making decisions, you really need to listen up today, and you really need to take up a new way of approaching making decisions. Okay. Now, I feel like I've always been a pretty good person at being able to make decisions. I think because a lot of times my decisions aren't life altering, right? But I do get very nervous when things are like huge decisions. Like we're trying to do the countertops in our kitchen and get a new slabs we're getting quartzite. And I went looking at all the slabs and I'm like, oh my gosh, is it like this shade or this shade? But I went through a process to figure it out. Right? And I think that's what you all have to do. You have to go through a very quick process. A lot of times you don't have a lot of time. And this is what I want to say with your business. You need to keep the train moving. You need to keep going. Okay. So I'm going to share with you an approach today for how to stop questioning everything and what you can do from now on. Because it's causing a lot of stress, like I said, a lot of angst, a lot of wasted time, and you don't have to. I was thinking about it too. Like I was at Costco the other day with my daughter. She saw these body pillows that were on sale. They were so cute and so fluffy, and they would go the whole length of, she's got a queen bed, and so she could put them behind her pink pillows. So she's got all this pink fluffy bedding, and she's got gray in her room and white in her room. And so she sees the body pillow, and guess what dilemma we got stuck in? I got sucked into the vortex. I was trying to get out of it, but she sucked me into her vortex of should I get gray or should I get white? Here's what I say right when she said that. Can you not decide? I mean, what do you think against it? You can't decide if it's pink or white. I'm kind of thinking, and I was kind of talking. She's like, no. She literally was sitting there. I was going down aisles of food, all down aisles, back and forth. She's still standing there by the pillows. I keep looking over. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening right now? She's like, I can't decide. I said, Ava, do you want to get both? Let's just get both body pillows, and I will return one. You know why? Because I'm willing to do that because I'm here all the time. It doesn't cost me any stress. I love to get stuff and then just return it later because I realize this is not life or death, and I have the ability to return it. Okay? And I do that because I don't want to sit there and, waver that, keep going back and forth and waffle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on this. I just want to get it home and I can test it on the bed. So why don't you get both? And then no, she didn't like that proposition. And she sat there and went back and forth maybe. And she had her hand like literally on her face, like thinking, like the little emojis, like thinking next to Costco, pacing around the pillow. It just cracks me up because it's so different than the way I work. Okay. I'm not saying mine is right. I'm just saying mine doesn't waste any time. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I always make the best decision, but I definitely am not about wasting any time. So anyway, she finally decides on one. Sure enough, y'all, can you guess what happened? The one she brought home. Now I didn't even, she brought the gray one. I almost said gay one. She brought the gray one home and was like, nope, I needed white in 2 seconds. Like knew she needed the white. Okay. So moral of the story is if we would have had both, then she could have put the gray on, she could have put the white on, and I would have returned the other one for her. So y'all, don't do that. Please don't do that. Like she got anxiety, like almost like she wasn't having like an anxiety attack, but she was like nervously thinking. And I'm like, we have a return policy here. Costco's amazing. I'm here all the time. This is no stress. We can return. Okay. What are you doing in your business right now that's like Ava, where you're just like back and forth? And both of them are great answers. Like neither of them are really wrong. There's just one that you're going to love more. There's just one you're going to love more. Okay. And so is there a way to incorporate both? A lot of you, it's not going to be that way. Okay. You're going to have to pick one. So here is my system that I want to walk you through so you don't waste any more time and angst doing this, and that you can take a new approach. You can become a new you for how you make decisions. So you're not a person that wastes time doing this. I'm sure I waste a lot of time doing all of the things. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but I am able to make pretty quick decisions, and here's why. Okay, number one, I realize that whatever decision I'm making is not usually life or death. It is not something that can be undone. Now, I will say this. Some of the stuff that y'all are working on is pretty important. It is. Maybe it's your colors, maybe it's your logo. But really, let's just be honest. You can change your colors in a second on these websites and on all your stuff. It's really not going to cost you that much to change it. Maybe your stickers or something you printed. Y'all, it's not really life or death. The consequence is not that bad to give you all this angst, right? But I know some of it is important. So we do want to give it due diligence. I think it's super smart to give it due diligence, okay? But what you can do is realize that this is not life or death. This is not unchangeable. A lot of this stuff you can, even if it's your logo, y'all, someone can update the logo later and do the different one, and you can upload it on your website or on your stickers. Y'all, it's really not that big a deal. The consequence is not that big of a deal. So stop making it a bigger deal than it is. It's not. Okay? And maybe there is an option to get both and be like Ava and figure it out and implement it and upload one to your website and upload the other and look at it and be like, okay, I don't like this one. Can you like put it in play, like in an actual setting where you could look at it and use it? I mean, I think that's a great way. But the first thing is to take the pressure off yourself. This is what I believe. First thing, it is not life or death. It is not irreversible. A lot of these things can be exchangeable, reversible, returnable, all that good stuff. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I love the tried and true pros and cons chart. Do y'all do this? Like, I've done this my whole life. Literally make a T on a piece of paper. Left column, right column. Pros, cons for choice A. Then do pros, cons for choice B. Y'all, this is tried and true. This is old school. This takes me back. I swear, I think I may have tried to decide if I was breaking up with a boyfriend or not in like 6th or 7th grade with a T chart. Do I call him on my corded line phone, or do I do it in person? Or do I have my best friend tell him? I was weighing out 3 options with the T chart with the pros and cons. Did y'all do that? Did anyone else? Is it just, okay, it's just me. It's just me who does that silly stuff. But I've always done pros and cons because I just want to look at it and see it from a 10,000 foot view and go, okay, pros, cons. Okay. Yeah. And then pros, cons over here. And here's what's going to happen when you do pros and cons. Your heart is going to pull you one way and your mind is going to pull you another. I'm telling you, you'll do the pros and cons. And even then you'll look at it and you'll be like, okay, this one looks like it wins, choice A. But my heart is with choice B. This happened today in the Just Getting Started group. I told them I was going to be creating a podcast about this topic tonight. It was just too funny that someone brought that up. It was Gina in the Just Getting Started group. She's a grow-getter too, but she was on that call and she's about to launch her business and she was deciding between 2 color palettes, okay, for her branding, for her logo. And she didn't know which one. And she was wavering back and forth. And she said, my heart is wanting to go with this one. But everyone else voted for the other one because we thought for the stuff that she told us about her business, that one made more sense. And you see, our heart was in it to help her, but our heart really wasn't as deep in it as hers was for the meaning of these colors and how it went. So that's going to happen to a lot of you, even when you do the pros and cons. You're going to sit back and go, this one makes more sense for my business. And this one, my heart, is really there. So at that point, you may still be stuck or you may be persuaded because you realize you've got to go with what is going to help the business, what is right for the business. Okay. And a lot of times that what's right for the business trumps a lot of things. Okay. You've seen a lot of business owners, who maybe even have been in business for a long time and maybe they're not doing well at all and their heart is still in it, but really for the business, they need to close it. Like, there's things like that happen. So know that. So pros and cons is the number 2 way. It's old school. It's tried and true. It's your way of approaching any decision in your life. Right now, don't ever forget the pros and cons T-chart on the piece of paper. I've done it for friends. I've done it for myself, breaking up with boyfriends. I've done it with when my husband and I were trying to figure out where we wanted to move. I remember he was having a job offer to maybe move to Tampa or Denver, and there was pros and cons, and I wanted to go to Tampa because I like warm weather and all this stuff, and that's where my heart went because I'm not a cold weather person. Ultimately, we chose Denver, and there was reasons why. I can't even remember everything, but maybe it was a better opportunity. Right. And so we had to go with what was smart for our family. And sometimes you have to do that. Okay. And it doesn't mean that your heart is not in either choice. Your heart is probably in both, but maybe just one you feel a little more pulled for. But sometimes you got to step back and go, what is the right thing for this business? Okay. Okay. So the old school pros and cons T-chart. Okay. The third way to stop being a questioner and kind of get past this is to aggregate data. Crowdsource from other people. Crowdsource, okay? You know that you have ways you can do that right now. We have our Women Starting Businesses free Facebook group. If you're in that group, you can post a poll. You can post 2 images and show something. You can ask people. If you're in my Just Getting Started group or Grow Getters, use our private groups for that. We want to help you. That's what these groups are for. So Gina did that when she was putting up her color palette that I was talking about a minute ago, and it was overwhelmingly voted for one of the options because we saw it from a business standpoint, right? And I think that helps her. I think sometimes too, though, when y'all crowdsource, here's what happens, because my daughter did this to me. You ask people you know and that you even care about first, and even when they give you their opinion, you kind of discount it. Do you do this? She did that to me. My daughter, Ava, she's the sweetest person on this planet. She literally is the sweetest soul, but she discounts what I say. I started noticing recently, no matter what I say, she says, no, actually not. No, that's not it. Whatever I say is completely, y'all, it's wrong. And she didn't even mean it. She's the sweetest soul on this planet. But I told her the other day, I said, Ava, I've noticed that whenever you ask me something or you want my opinion, whatever I say is the wrong answer. Okay? It's the wrong answer. And you discount it. So y'all are doing that. Y'all are discounting the people that you love. Okay, that's fine. Discount them. Go to the next group, which is our Facebook groups. If you're in Grow Getters or Just Getting Started group, ask people that maybe you don't know as well so that you're not biased to whatever they say against it. Like, what is that, a reverse bias? Like, she had a reverse bias. Like, she wasn't biased toward me. She was the reverse. So if you're going to be that kind of person, then ask people you don't really know, okay? Get another opinion. You may need to hire somebody. You may need to get a professional opinion. Y'all, it's like me decorating our first floor of our house. Y'all, I could decorate my house. I know my style. I could go pick it out. But you know what I realized? I've never done it before. I'm 50 years old. I'd like to have the bottom floor of my house look like what I want it to look like. That's pretty much it, because I piecemeal everything. I'm a bargain shopper. I'm Home Goods. I'm TJ Maxx. I'm Target. I'm whatever I can get a deal on. I love it, right? But I decided, you know what? And my husband said, let's do this. We're going to be here for a little while longer. Let's make this amazing the way we want it. So we're doing that. And I hired someone to help to get an outside opinion. And I'm paying her so that I'll listen to her. So that I will listen to someone else and not me and go back and forth and question, because decorating I'm not super great at. And so I do waver and I don't know what I'm doing. And so I'm paying her to have someone's opinion who is not super close to me. She's a new friend now that I have in the area. I'm so excited. I love her. And she's giving me her opinion. And I value it. We were picking out our quartzite for the countertops. And I'm looking at that going, this is overwhelming. There's all these colors. I don't even know what I'm doing. And we kind of got down. And when we agreed, it made me feel good that I was making the right decision. It may have not been my all-time pick. Really, I wanted marble. I looked at the marble. I'm like, I want this marble right here. It's like all glittery and shiny. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this, but it's not practical for the kitchen. So we're going with quartzite because it's more durable. So look, I had to make that decision based on my brain and knowing what's best for my house and for living versus my heart, because my heart wanted that marble. Like, I'm looking at it and even thinking about it right now, the little sparklies. If y'all have looked at marble, oh my gosh, there were so many like whites with grays that had the little sparkly things in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I could look at this every day, but my heart went to that. But I said, you know what? I got to do the right thing for the house. And so we're doing the right thing for decorating. Right? You have to do the same for your business. Get external opinions. And if you have to pay somebody, you have to pay somebody. I have people in Grow Getters and Just Getting Started group who pay for like emergency one-on-one sessions with me just to hash out a decision. Because this is hard.
This is hard for a lot of people. And it's hard for me in certain situations in my life too. And I've had to pay people. Okay. And it felt so good because I got the second opinion. I'm like, yes, I'm making the right decision. I don't have to go back and forth on this anymore. And I'm going to choose to make this decision and move forward. I think you have to come to a realization that you have to choose and you have to stop being like this and you have to stop going back and forth, right? So that's what it is. Get an outside opinion and get a lot of opinions, and you're going to see an overwhelming, probably one way or the other, I'm guessing, right? So again, let's review these. And let me say this really quick. I should have said this at the beginning. Questioning things is an amazing trait. It's an amazing trait. I think it's smart. It shows that you give things due diligence, that you think them through and you're just not being impulsive. Okay. So right now, I want you to own it. If you're a questioner who's constantly doing it, you might be a perfectionist. You might like things done right the first time and you don't have to worry about returns. You don't have to redo. And that is an amazing trait. I actually very much admire the people in my life like that. I really do, because they do a lot of things right. I have to do things again sometimes. But it's just how my brain works, and I'd rather do it again than be wasting time trying to make a decision, right? And so I think it's an awesome trait. I want you to own it and be proud of it if that's you, because I think you're doing things right, and I think you're going through the motions in a smart way. Okay, so that's what I want to say first of all. But for some of you, it's causing a lot of stress and angst and wasting a lot of time in your business, and you're not moving forward because you're wavering over your idea. You're wavering how to plan it. You're wavering like, what are all the things that you should be doing to start? Should you do this or this? And in your growth, you're like, well, I don't really want to put myself out there, and so I'm not really going to do it. Should I do this or should I do this? And you waver and you don't do it. The people that get in my programs get help, and we start making decisions. Your idea, figure it out. Your business plan, let's get it mapped out so you know what this entails and you can decide if you want to start your business or not, instead of sitting here dreaming about this one business that you have and you never put a plan together. So you never really see what this would do. And if you're starting your business, you're going back and forth trying to decide things and colors and blah, 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 when you can have a group, a safe place to get help and ask questions. And in Grow Getters, you can actually get this train moving and start generating consistent sales and decide how you're going to do that instead of just sitting here thinking, how do I get to consistent sales? Should I do this or should I do this? No, we're going to make a decision and we're going to move forward with one, and we can always adjust, y'all. There is a return policy on just about everything. Everything is changeable. Everything is pivotable. Everything is adjustable. So stop making it like this is life or death. Okay, think of Ava with the pillow in Costco, wasting 15 minutes, scratching her face, putting her hand on her chin, going back and forth. We could have got both, like I said in the very beginning, and had them, and it's fine. So don't do this to yourself. It's unneeded stress. Okay. So here's how you're going to start approaching questioning things in your life. Anything, even in your business, in your personal life, whatever it is. Number one, realize it's not life or death. Usually there's a return policy. Usually there's a way to change it, adapt it, fix it later. I know that's hard for some of you. You don't like that. It makes you uncomfortable, but that's the truth. You can change it. Okay. And it won't be that big a deal. Okay. It's not life or death. Number two, the old-fashioned, old school T-chart, pros and cons of both options. Look at them. One of them your heart is going to be tied to, but you're going to sit back and go, is it the same one that is smart for my business or smart for my future or my family or whatever it is? And you're going to have to go with the one that's smartest. Okay. I think your heart is super important. And if you do feel totally called and you're like, I just can't do it, I can't do that. There's some things like, some people just cannot stand social media and doing social media and or TikTok. I cannot do, someone may say, I've had a Grow Getter say this, I literally can't deal with TikTok and I don't want to do it. Okay. But if we were sitting there going on, well, you could do videos on Instagram or TikTok. And let's say I said TikTok is the one, you have to do that. And she was like, no, I can't stand it. I would say, okay, then we're not doing that. Then even though I think that's best for your business, and by the way, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying this at all. This is just an example. If that happened, she would have done Instagram, because that is with her heart, even though I thought maybe TikTok would have been best for her business growth, right? Sometimes we do. If you feel so pulled with your heart, then you got to go with your heart. But most of the time, that's not what it is. You just feel a little more pulled this way. you feel a little more pulled that way. Okay. So that's normal. And then if you're still stuck, you're going to crowdsource. You're going to post in the Women Starting Businesses group. If you've got a question about your business, or if you're in the Just Getting Started group or Grow Getters, y'all post in those groups. Okay. Because we want to help you, because you know what goes around comes around. We all need help and advice. Run a poll, do something so that you can get help, so you're not going back and forth and sitting here wavering over all this stuff, causing stress, angst, and wasted time. Okay. Because you know I love you and I want you to move forward with your business effectively, get it open and selling, get it growing so you can actually start living your business dream. I'm so happy y'all are here. Make sure you get all the free resources, and you can work with me, with the business idea workshop, with the business plan workshop, with the Just Getting Started group, and with Grow Getters. Okay. Pick one. Pick wherever you are and get help. Let's get this train moving. I'm so excited for you. So that's it. Y'all have a great day. Until next time, bye now.